What's up, dudes? Max here, back with some first impressions of the recently released Injustice 2 online beta. Now, this is not a public beta, it is closed only to select code givers, and if you signed up on the Injustice 2 website, there was a chance that you were a part of Wave 1 or just recently Wave 2 of invites that were sent out. But I wouldn't worry too much because there's only 4 characters and a couple stages. Now, I kind of wanted to talk about my overall impressions. This is the most time I've had a chance to play Injustice 2, kind of including my first initial impressions at E3. And now with the other Injustice game, the first one side by side, I get kind of a better idea of what we're looking at here moving forward with Injustice 2. For the most part, general impressions, this game is very much like the first Injustice. Character feel, overall speed, the distance that you have from each other, all of this is very familiar to the first game. In fact, the majority of combos that you could do with Batman and Superman, which are 2 playable characters in the beta, are overall almost identical. Like, you do very similar things. Wall bounce, ground bounce, everything, a lot of strings are very similar, but there are some minor animation differences. One of the bigger ones is that Batman's neutral stance is no longer the weird Injustice 1 pose. He does have a regular fighter-looking pose for Injustice 2. A lot of the time spent was me essentially reminding myself how to play Injustice as a game, as it's been kind of like 4 years since I've even bothered to try learning beyond just a couple of matches playing with friends. Learning that you can do back threes, that there are wall bounces, there are ground bounces, and there are a lot of different mechanics of this game that you have to get used to. One of the more frustrating things of Injustice is jumping in with an attack and buffering in the button string on the ground. You can't react if you landed the attack and then continue to press the buttons. It doesn't work that way. You kind of have to preemptively press a lot of those strings to make your pressure attack happen after you do a jump in, and that's very hard to get used to, especially considering a lot of other fighting games. A lot of the weird clunkiness that was associated with the first Injustice is definitely here with Injustice 2 because the game feels very, very, very similar. But one of the best aspects of it is that it's freaking gorgeous. The game looks absolutely phenomenal at 60 frames per second running right in front of you. I'm going to render this at higher resolutions of 1440p and 4K, so if you want to look at it looking really good, then you could actually choose that in the YouTube option below. But visually, it looks absolutely fantastic. They've made a lot of upgrades from when I first saw it at E3, as well as the fact that many of these character faces look freaking great. The animations that go associated with the characters talking to each other looks good, but some shots of Supergirl still look a little wonky. The other things the game does come with is essentially a online player match mode, as well as a character customization mode, and you will be earning gear very frequently in this online mode, much more frequently than the base game will be when it does come out in May. You get a lot of character gear and a lot of equipment to change the customizing look of your character, but especially for the one guy that I was kind of using a lot at the start, which is Batman, I really couldn't change a lot of what he looked like, mostly just the colors of some of his, like, utility belt items changing from blue to green. He mostly is black or a slightly less dark shade of black, along with the huge amount of crazy techno armor that you can adjust to your characters. It's funny, like, I think the character customization thing is cool, but at the same time, every character kind of looks really similar because they're all kind of techno Injustice-y looking. It's just slight variations of that style all over the place. But you do get them for every single character, so the more you play of an individual character, you can go and customize them, and these things can change your stats and moves. In fact, you can learn new abilities from this stuff, including, with Batman, a meter-burned counterattack, as well as double batarangs and even other moves. These things do carry over into the beta online, so you'll find people that have moves that you've never seen before, or have a extraneous amount of defense. All the stats and everything that are carrying over into this beta are actually in play right now, so if characters do have power bonuses, or they do more damage, or they have more defense, that absolutely affects online matches, and sometimes you're going to run into a guy and it's like, I feel like I have to do 3 to 4 times as many combos to get this guy down. That's because they have crazy defense. But this can be disabled within the player match option of the beta. Right as you're selecting the stage to fight on, you can set parameters for the fight, including competitive mode, which removes all the stat boosting and evens the level roll out for both the characters. This is very nice, but at the same time, it's one of those things that is similar to the previous Injustice game where both players have to agree, similar to how you had to agree on both sides to remove interactables. Now you both have to agree to take off the fact that you're going to have stat boosting with this gear. So sometimes you'll run into people that very obviously will just ready up and say like, okay, yeah, I'll turn this off with you. We can play competitive, that's fine. But the majority of the time, a lot of people don't, and they want to play with their super beefed out characters against your not beefed out character, and it becomes a friggin' struggle. One of the things I don't like right now is that you have to have that agreement on both sides. I really feel if one person wants to turn that off, it should just turn it off. But this is not the final game. I'm sure the final game is going to have a much different confirmation system as far as who can have gear and how that gear affects the fight. There's probably going to be a very, very, very clear, concise, like, ranking mode or something where the gear does not affect the players and it's only cosmetic, which is what I want. Now, the biggest aspect of this online beta is the netcode. How good does the net play handle? And it's a little all over the place right now. I've had some really good matches that feel absolutely fantastic and on par with Mortal Kombat X, and had some really, really bad stuttery ones along the way. If you manage to get matches that have over 150 ping, upwards of 250 ping, these matches can be very rough, having quite a bit of input delay and jittery stutteriness every once in a while. The best kind of matches for Injustice 2 are under 100 ping, and they're not very frequent, unfortunately. I think it's just an aspect of the matchmaking or not having enough people online, but I do feel that by the time this game comes out, it's going to have as refined of matchmaking and net play as Mortal Kombat XL, because that game runs really damn good online, and I only hope that carries over. But there has been many reports of people playing from across the entire Atlantic Ocean to the West Coast, and it performing okay, so I do have high optimism that everything will be working out pretty good in the future. There is a notable amount of bugs in the beta right now, including weird things in the options menu as far as setting audio levels on certain things, totally whacking out the audio levels of the announcers and characters. So it is very early. I wouldn't be too worried for you guys right now that are waiting for a code, especially for the fact that if you want to practice right now, I heavily encourage you to pop in the first Injustice and start doing some stuff with Batman and Superman, because the majority of things you're going to do in that game, the greater like 95% I'd say, are almost identical to this game. And that's one of the things that kind of is irking me right now. I want to be really excited about Injustice 2 because there are unique characters out there that I feel that I can be excited about. I'm not super jazzed about Atrocitus and Supergirl, but I'm going to try Atrocitus because he is a brand new character, and they do seem to have a lot more capabilities than Batman and Superman, because right now Batman and Superman are just more toned down versions of their regular Injustice characters from the first game. A lot of players, especially the notable ones I've been keeping track of and seeing how they do things with these characters, they're really good because all the stuff is similar and they've been doing a lot of it, but it does look like they've nerfed a few things with these classic characters, but it's small stuff but kind of big, like Batman's forward dash is a lot slower than it was before and has a bit more recovery, as well as his jumping bat sparks has a lot more recovery and is a bit slower as well. So next time I get to play, I'm looking forward to trying out characters like Atrocitus. I'm not too thrilled about Supergirl. She is easily the most effective and dangerous character in the demo right now, and is absolutely terrifying how good she is. I think some players, including Sonic Fox, have already discovered a block string infinite with her that includes flight cancels, so she is officially a problem right now, and I did enjoy Atrocitus quite a bit when I played him at E3, so I'm thinking that's the next character I will probably play as, because right now we just got a whole bunch of Batman footage, and I do enjoy Batman to an extent, but there's a lot of other characters that I'm very, 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 very much looking forward to playing as, and not the classic Injustice characters. Either way, that's all I got for you guys right now. I'm really looking forward to more characters showing up, because no one on the initial roster at the moment has me super excited within this beta, but maybe we'll get some more in the near future. As always, dudes, thank you a ton for watching. I appreciate a thumbs up on the video, and I'll be back with more Injustice gameplay, as well as some Batman matches and online matches featuring the character and going up against everyone else amongst the stages and everything that this early beta has to offer. As always, dudes, thank you a ton for watching. My name is Max, and I'll see you next time.
Batman.